106.9 FM.
Voice of the Marshes.
The time is 9 o'clock. You're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements.
Hello, this is Clinton Davis with your CHMA local news. We're going to talk about the Owens Art Gallery in a couple minutes, but first, construction progress on the new Dorchester Fire Hall is quickly catching up following a roof truss collapse late last year. In an interview recorded late last year, Beale said the collapse was likely caused by a combination of factors, including wind conditions and the stage of construction at the time. In an email provided to CHMA News, Michael Beale from the municipality of Tantramar confirmed the damaged trusses were replaced at no cost to the municipality. According to consultant Andrew Amos, the contractor absorbed the full cost of the repairs. Amos wrote, "The damaged trusses were immediately replaced by the contractor at no cost to the municipality. 100% of the costs were absorbed by the contractor and their insurer." Amos said the contractor mobilized crews over the holiday break and has already made up most of the lost time, and they have plans to maintain additional crews to make up the remaining delay. The work is proceeding as per plans, and significant progress has been made and continues to be made on a daily basis. Michael Beale confirmed the overall timeline has not changed. In Beale's email, work remains on schedule for a summer 2026 completion by the contractor. The roof trusses collapsed in late November while the building was still under construction. No workers were injured.
There is a question whether it was wind related. Fencing that was around the building actually got tipped over by the wind, so there were some wind gusts that did take place. The trusses weren't fully braced yet because they were still being installed.
Beale said he felt those factors came together to cause the failure.
Or a combination of a number of factors resulted in the roof truss collapsing.
At the time, Beale said new trusses had been ordered immediately and engineers were brought in to inspect the structure before work continued. With the roof, the Dorchester Fire Hall is now a $6 million project intended to replace the community's aging 1960 station. It's designed to house larger fire trucks, expand fire service capacity, and include space for a municipal office. Municipal officials say construction is now proceeding as planned with no cost to taxpayers and no change to the expected summer 2026 opening. And some additional news about Owens Art Gallery funding. As some of you may have heard, an announcement made earlier this month confirmed major new funding for the Owens Art Gallery in Sackville. The Owens Art Gallery had been awarded $820,000 in multi-year core funding through the Canada Council for the Arts Artistic Catalysts program. The funding supports the gallery's operations, exhibitions, public programming, and artist-centered initiatives. So before that full funding package was publicly announced, I had spoke with Emily Falvey about what some of that support would make possible. Emily Falvey is the director of the Owens Art Gallery.
We were really lucky to get an increase from the Canada Council for the Arts to our funding for the next 4 years, and we're going to be able to hire a part-time person to support public programming and outreach and education at the Owens.
Falvey says the added funding helps address capacity challenges at the gallery.
So that's a really exciting thing for me. I'm really happy for us. It's going to help us with our capacity, and it'll probably happen in September that we'll be looking to hire somebody.
She says the new position will support existing education and outreach work while allowing the gallery to expand accessibility-focused programming.
It will be to support Lucy McDonald, our Curator of Education and Community Outreach. So it will be to support existing programs like Maker Maker, Make Something Sunday, but also so that we can implement sensory-friendly hours and some of the other programs we've been wanting to do around accessibility that we haven't been able to do because of this capacity issue.
The Owens Art Gallery celebrated its 130th anniversary last year and is Atlantic Canada's oldest art gallery and Canada's oldest university art gallery. Plays a central role in Sackville's cultural life, and the Canada Council funding is expected to support the gallery's work with artists, students, and the broader community over the coming years. For stories, comments, or questions, you can email news@chmafm.com. I'm Clinton Davis with your local CHMA News here in Tantramar.
And here is your CHMA Atlantic update for Friday, January the 30th. The stepfather of 2 children reported missing in Nova Scotia more than 8 months ago has been charged with sexual assault, and forcible confinement. RCMP say 34-year-old Daniel Martel was arrested on Monday but did not include further details. 5-year-old Jack Sullivan and his 6-year-old sister Lily Sullivan were reported missing in May when the mother called 911 to report they'd wandered away from their home in Pictou County. Police say Martel is due in court next month. And New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt says there could be big cuts to government spending as the province looks to revamp its economy. Holt told an audience in Fredericton last night that New Brunswickers are feeling the pinch and the government wants to help in areas such as affordability, safety, and healthcare. She says her government plans to release as early as next week an economic development plan outlining where the cuts may fall. Holt says the plan will also focus on attracting more investment and increasing exports to markets outside of the U.S. The federal government has earmarked $13 million to help builders in Atlantic Canada adopt new construction methods. The money from Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency will be spread across 28 projects to help suppliers and trades get into new construction methods, such as a modular and prefabricated buildings. The funding includes $1.8 million for the University of New Brunswick's Off-Site Construction Research Centre. The government says the school will test new building techniques and improve productivity. And angry winter seas are hammering the MSC Baltic 3 container vessel, which is shipwrecked off the west coast of Newfoundland. The Canadian Coast Guard says a portside crack and starboard buckling have spread after a bout of severe weather. The Coast Guard says crews also found a lot of debris onshore, which is expected after a storm, but they didn't see any oil pollution. The ship ran aground in a rocky cove near Lark Harbour last year after it lost power in heavy seas. And just in case your shoveling muscles didn't get enough of a workout this week, another blast of winter weather has Nova Scotia in its sight. Environment Canada has issued a special weather statement for all of the province saying 15 to 30 centimeters, possibly more, could fall this weekend. Beginning Sunday afternoon, the storm is expected to bring wind gusts of 60 to 80 kilometers per hour and last until Monday evening. The weather agency says it's too early to say exactly where the highest snowfall totals are expected. And one of the 2 candidates running to be the next leader of PEI's Progressive Conservatives is pitching the idea of a tunnel from the island to Nova Scotia. Rob Lance floated the idea at a leadership forum last week and mentioned it again in an interview with CBC News yesterday, saying the province has a big dream. Lance suggested a new link to PEI could be one of the federal government's nation-building projects. His opponent, Mark Ledwell, said the idea is unrealistic, while Liberal leader Robert Mitchell says the idea is premature. And that is your CHMA Atlantic update for today. We'll have that again, of course, at 12 and 5. Let's take a quick look at the weather. We are currently seeing temperatures at minus 15. Wind chill says that it's minus 23 out there. Mainly cloudy for today with 30% chance of flurries this morning. High of minus 8. Wind chill minus 23 in the morning, minus 15 in the afternoon. Partially cloudy, clearing near midnight. Wind northwest, 20 kilometers an hour, becoming light after midnight tonight. Low minus 16, except minus 21 in low-lying areas. Wind chill minus 19 this evening and minus 14 overnight. Saturday, January the 31st, sunny, wind up to 15 kilometers an hour and a high of minus 15. Wind chill minus 20 in the morning and minus 10 in the afternoon. Saturday night, cloudy periods with a low of minus 13. For Sunday, February the 1st, cloudy with a high of minus 5, and on Sunday night, snow with a low of minus 8. Cloudy periods of snow on Monday the 2nd with some wind, high of minus 4. Cloudy on Monday night, low of minus 7. Cloudy on Tuesday with a high of minus 2, and Tuesday night, cloudy periods with a low of minus 11. A mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday, high of -6. Cloudy periods, low of -13 on Wednesday night. And next Thursday, the 5th of February, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of -7. And let's move along into the CHMA Sports Update with Brian Nielsen.
Hi, I'm Louisa, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
And here's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
We begin today with the celebration of the selection of...
And that's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update. Please be... All right, folks. Well, something's going on with the machine again, so we're just going to roll that out one last time. This is Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
We begin today with the celebration of the selection of Penelope Anderson to Canada Women's Rugby U21 National Squad, heading off across the pond in 2 months' time to battle the United Kingdom and Ireland on the rugby pitch. Congratulations, Penelope, the pride of Tantramar Regional High School and beyond. In the NBA last night, turning our attention inside, there were 8 games on the docket, including the Philadelphia 76ers defeating the Sacramento Kings 113-111. It was the Wizards by 10 over the Milwaukee Bucks, looking to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. That was 109-99. The Rockets beat Atlanta in Georgia 104-86. It was the Heat over the Bulls 116-113. Hornets by a buckets over the Mavericks 123-121. It was the Denver Chicken Nuggets with the 107-103 victory over the Brooklyn Nets at home last night. Suns defeat the visiting Detroit Pistons by 18, 114-96. And in the late game, it was the upstart Minnesota Timberwolves 123-111 over the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. In the NHL, a full slate of games last night around the league, beginning with Boston hosting the Philadelphia Flyers at home. They win 6-3. 3-goal margin of victory for the Sabres over the Kings. Was 4-1 there. Montreal Canadiens putting it to the Colorado Avalanche at home in the Bell Center in downtown Montreal. That was a 7-3 victory for the Habitants. The Lightning defeat the visiting Winnipeg Jets at home in Tampa Bay. 4-1 final there. Took overtime for the New Jersey Devils to dispatch of the Nashville Predators. 1-goal victory for the Islanders against the New York Rangers at MSG, 2-1 there. It was Chicago losing to Pittsburgh, 6-2 final in Pennsylvania. The Hurricanes defeat the Utah Mammoth at home by a goal, 5-4 final there. Over a shootout saw the Washington Capitals defeat the Detroit Red Wings in the Motor City. The Blues also 1-goal victors over the Florida Panthers at home in St. Louis. The Minnesota Wild defeat handily the Calgary Flames, 4-1 finish in that one. Overtime saw the City of Champion Edmonton Oilers defeat the San Jose Sharks, a 4-3 final there. Canucks also winning at home last night against the visiting Ducks, 2-0 final there. It took a shootout in Sin City for the Dallas Stars to defeat the Vegas Golden Knights, a 5-4 final there. And in the last game of the evening at Climate Pledge Arena, the Seattle Kraken defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2. Coming up this weekend, we have the Australian Open Finals. Can tell you right at this point right now that Carlos Alcaraz, the number 1 seed on the men's side, will advance to the final, and with all intents and purposes, be facing off against the Italian Sinner.
And thanks so much, Brian Nielsen, every weekday at 8:30 a.m., ladies and gentlemen, and also hosting the Monday show. It's currently 9:14, and right around now we do some community updates. So I'm going to take a little trip over to socials and see what Tantramar is saying. Tantramar, the municipality, is offering up Grant Writing 101, and this is going to be happening at the Mount Watley Community Hall, March 15th from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. And grant writing is really important, especially if you're working in the non-profit sector. If you're, even in these remote areas, anything can help. And if there's some grants available, there's a lot of grants out there that I would, Grant Writing 101 is a practical, interactive session for nonprofit organizations looking to strengthen their approach to grant funding. This workshop covers the full grant process, from clearly defining your organization's purpose to identifying the right funding opportunities and building strong relationships with funders. You'll learn how to write clear, well-structured proposals, develop realistic budgets, and use language and visuals that support your application. They'll also walk you through common grant challenges, clear up frequent misconceptions, and touch on the ethical use of AI tools in grant writing. Participants will leave with practical tips, examples, and resources that they can put to use right away. So that's a great one to look into. That is going to be happening at Mount Wally Community Hall again, March 15th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can sign up for that and get more details at tantmarnb.com/programs. And also, World Wetlands Day is coming up in Tantramar. Tantramar is proud to be a wetland city, and they're marking World Wetland Day with a couple of simple, fun ways to take part. They're going to be doing a wetland photo contest. If you have a wetland photo of yourself, they want you to send it your way. There's 2 categories, aged 18 and under, and then over 18, up to 5 photos per person, and email entries to visitor@tantmarnb.com. The deadline to do this is this coming Sunday at 1 p.m. On February 2nd, they'll share 5 finalist photos from each category and open it up for public voting on February the 9th. Winners will receive a gift box from local businesses, and their photo will be featured in the 2026-27 Visitor and Events Guide. You can drop in on World Wetlands Day by stopping by the Tantramar Visitors Information Center over at 34 Mallard Drive on February 2nd between 3 and 5 p.m. They'll have a few treats, wetland-themed coloring pages, and hot chocolate from the Cafe Tantramar, and a large rubber duck for the first 25 young people who arrive. Again, that is World Wetlands Day, February 2nd, 2026. That is, Sally was confused. She said, was that the day that we normally do our wetlands broadcast? And no, it's not, but we should coincide it next time. And what she was referring to was the wetlands broadcast that we do, 24 hours of a sounds of nature that are put together worldwide, and it's put on by a group out of BC that organize a whole bunch of radio stations to do this broadcast every year, and they've been doing it, I think, I'm not sure, but I believe it's been about 10, or it could even be 20 years, and we usually do it in March. I don't have the exact date, but we also observe that we live in the wetlands and how important they are on that special broadcast day. Okay, well, you heard it from the CP Press. There's a big weather thing coming in, but Environment Canada didn't quite have the numbers. But going into the weekend, just be aware that coming out of the weekend, looks like we could be having a big storm. There is one more note from Tantramar that I think you might want to know. They're holding an event for entrepreneurs on Tuesday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Visitors Information Center that we just talked about. The topic is tourist promotion programs for Tantramar businesses, with presentations by Ron Kelly-Spurls, the Regional Service Commission, Tourist Industry Association of New Brunswick, and Destination Southeast. There will be door prizes and light refreshments will be provided. The event is free and no pre-registration is required. Again, that is this coming Tuesday, February the 3rd, 7 p.m. at the TVIC, the Information Center over at Mallard Drive. Okay. It is 9:19. Still feeling it. Let's cruise over to CHMAFM.com, which is feeling a little ill this morning. I woke up that there's a little illness happening on our website, but I'll get to that as soon as as soon as I'm finished hosting the morning show in 11 minutes. And it shouldn't be too big of an issue, but let's take a look at what's happening. We got timeless forms at the Owens Art Gallery. Sackville Farmers Market is up tomorrow, as it normally is, and open mic night, I believe this is the Saturday for Ducky's open mic night, but it could be the other Saturday, so just double check before you plan on going out. And coming up next week, we have Nocturnal Variations, a puppet cabaret, and that is going to be over at the Moiter Fancy Theater at the Fine Arts Building, the Purdy Crawford Center for the Arts. That's by Ian McFarlane and Student Creators, directed by Ian McFarlane, and February 4th to the 7th at 7 p.m. An endless night of sleepless dreams. It's coming to the Purdy Crawford Center for the Arts, and it invites audiences into a surreal cabaret where consciousness feels flexible and performers are more than human, featuring original puppet acts. This design-focused devised theater project explores the precarity of the current moment through humor, grace, and a touch of absurdity. This show is recommended for ages 14 and up. And also coming up next week is the Care Week, EOS Eco Energy. That's from February 7th to 13th, and they have a series of events that they're going to be hosting and that they've partnered with various community groups with. They're going to be doing a canning class on February the 7th from 1 p.m. to 3:30. They'll also be doing clothing swap at Mount Allison's Tweedy Hall here on the first floor of the Student Center. Noon to 12 the clothing swap is 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on February 9th. February 10th, noon to 12, solar workshop at the Tantramar Civic Center with Fundy Solar and Wheeler Electric. And on the 13th, from noon till 1 p.m., they're doing a flood-proofing webinar. And that is, you can check out the social media and their website for the Zoom link to that. No registration needed. You just jump in there and join on in. So that's coming up next week, the 7th to the 13th. And there you have it. We'll move out of the news section right now and get into some music. But before we do, we've got a couple of things to let you know about. In local radio, CHMA is now accepting new applications for winter shows. If you have questions about on-air broadcasting, podcasting, audio production, or simply would like to tour the studios and learn how radio works, please reach out to us by visiting chmafm.com and selecting Get Involved from the menu. CHMA is powered by Community Voices, and we're here to help amplify your message. We're always excited to have new shows and voices and would love to teach you how easy it is to get involved with your local campus and community radio station.
Hi, this is Ashley inviting you to a collection of music, a concert to support youth programming for Autism Nova Scotia. It's an evening of exciting and eclectic live performances by Mount Allison students, from classical to pop music. Doors open at 7 p.m. with the concert starting at 7:30 on Saturday, February 7th in Brunton Auditorium here at Mount Allison. Admission is by donation. This will be a sensory-friendly experience. Noise-canceling headphones and earplugs will be available. See you there.
And that was your CHMA News. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tantramar's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com. All right, let's take into some music right now. I have some Andres Miguel Cervantes with songs for the seance. Some Samantha Karen with Cherry Plum, and Whitney with Back to the Wind. And that will take us to the end of the morning show. I've been your host, James Anderson, taking over from 8:30 until 9:30. Coming up, we have Eric Gohill up at 11. But before that, we also have what is our programming for Friday at 10 a.m. This Way Out. And then even before that, actually, no, I've made a mistake. Eric Gohill is not up at 11 a.m. because Ben Place has moved from the afternoon into the 11 a.m. slot with East Coast Kickoff. So they'll be coming up right after This Way Out. Then we have Noon Show coming up with Siley Sringapore and James Anderson. We're doing double duty on the Noon Show these days just to make things a little more exciting. 1 p.m. Democracy Now! The Argosy back on air with After Hours. And then we have Joseph Lunan, who is a new host, joining us in the afternoon at 3 p.m. Hinka Younger with Da Capo at 4 p.m. Live at 5 with Maya Noel at 5 p.m. Pyrep with Cole, Simeon, and Rory. 7 p.m. starts our usual programming with Finding Film with Emma and Darcy at 7 p.m. Blind Date with Christina Acton and Hannah Tuck at 8. BAM Radio with Clinton Davis at 9. And The Drop Live with Smiley Miras at 10 p.m. Saturday morning starts off with Ashna taking you through till 12 o'clock, but we'll also have Words and Culture. That will be airing at 10 a.m. And When We Wake with Andrew Shaver from 11 to 12. Girly So Groovy with Trevor Klundert coming in from 1 till 3. On a Piano Hour at 4. And Radio Rascal with Kylie Villeneuve at 5. And a new show, Artist Hour with Evan Zaccarelli and Ellie Dixon at 6 p.m. Sunshine After Dark with John Huck. And Leona's Basement Music with Leona on at 8. Saturday Night Vibe with Diego and Hinka at 9 p.m. And moving on, moves from Wednesday afternoon into Saturday night. Moving on with Sumner Pellegrini Depar. And maybe the arena with Ben Blue, but we just double checked and Ben hasn't really done a show since early December, maybe even earlier. So we think that Ben has moved out of the arena. We've sent a couple notes, but yeah, if anyone sees Ben Blue around, just let us know what's happening at midnight on Saturday. But yeah, could happen, could not. All right, let's get into the music. Samantha Karen with Cherry Plum, Andres Miguel Cervantes with Songs for the Seance, and Whitney with Back to the Wind. Thanks for tuning in.
Listen to The Night Shift every Sunday at 9 p.m. on CHMA to hear Luca Capone spin a diverse, adventurous mix of sounds from psychedelic jazz to experimental hip-hop, tropicalia to music concrete, and a heavy focus on Canadian and independent artists. This is a show you don't want to miss out on.
Scared to rest, I wish the threat was over. You're my favorite.